What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Watching Paint Dry here on Another Letdown. My name is Zach from Another Letdown Media and the This Is Difficult video game podcast. I'll be one of your hosts this evening. This is the show where we hang out at the end of a week, after we probably ought to have thought about going to bed, and work through the ridiculous backlog of miniatures that we've accumulated over the years that require painting. There's an old adage that says, if a miniatures painter ever runs out of painting projects to work on, he or she will die, so we're just trying to stave off death for as long as possible. And joining me on the line, my intrepid co-hosts, one Lord of Illustration, Mr. Adam Ribataro.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
And our resident monkey handler, Broody Gambit.
Howdy, everyone.
So we're back. It's been a minute because of the holiday, and I got sick, so that was great.
Nice.
So
I'm a little sick right now.
Yeah, we can hear it in your voice. You're okay though?
My kids are deathly ill, but they're but so I got the parent version of that.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, kids are
Yeah.
germ factories, right?
Mm-hmm.
As with all the shows that we host on the Another Letdown Media channel, as well as the This Is Difficult podcast network at large, we believe in civil rights for absolutely everyone and in being as inclusive as possible. So any comments or activity actively working against that goal are not welcome and will not be tolerated. So let's paint.
All right.
Who do we have on the table today? I've got Nebula.
Nebula, nice.
Yep.
I have Link from RNE Studios. This is a print that I did.
And I've got the new Zombicide Lino.
And speaking of Zombicide, Adam, you have something cool to show off too, yeah?
Yeah, I do. I got the first box of Marvel Zombies in.
Oh, so cool.
So I figured I'd show off a few of those. I'll just show off like a couple of the characters here. So like we got Black Panther.
Oh, that pose is sick.
The poses on these are just amazing. Yeah, Spider-Man in like probably the best Spider-Man that I've seen. It's like an actual Spider-Man pose.
Yeah.
And he's got some web on there and like just real fun. Yeah. We got Doctor Strange, which has all the tentacles, and then the sigil from the Sanctum there.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty dope. Thor, which is a pretty great Thor also.
Yeah, it is. I wasn't thrilled with it when I first saw it, and the more I look at it, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty Thor.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then we got Miss Marvel. Not bad.
Is it
I
Kamala?
don't much care for Kamala. It's Kamala. Yeah. I don't much care for her, but it's not a bad figure.
Yeah.
And then Scarlet Witch, and those are all the heroes that come with the core game. That's been delivered, but it comes with like a lot of bystanders too. I mean, I'm not gonna show you all these ones, but you got like Zombie Hulk, which is way bigger than I thought it would be. It's huge.
Oh my god! And they crammed him
Yeah.
onto a standard size base.
Yeah. You got Zombie Deadpool, Zombie Cat, but you also have the things that I'm most excited about with this set, which are things like we can get this thing off of here. You got Aunt May.
Mm-hmm.
You got Mary Jane Watson.
Yes.
And the pièce de résistance, J. Jonah Jameson.
Yes. He's a menace.
It's so good. It's such a great
Spider-Man.
So that's what I'm most excited about, honestly, is that especially because we have an Augs build to play as him.
Right.
So,
and that's the whole reason that I ended up buying it at all, and I've been perennially frustrated since, because the scale is not the same as the Crisis Protocol ones that I've been painting.
yeah.
The bystanders are what sold me on it. Like,
Yeah.
we are never going to get those characters from anywhere. Like,
No.
as cool as they are, like, we'll get one here or there. Nuclear Firefly did J. Jonah Jameson, and Stan Lee, for example, two of the bystanders that come with Zombicide. But, like, when I'm spinning my printer, I want to print heroes and villains. Like they always get priority.
There's like the deep cuts in there that are like in one of my Patreons I requested a living laser.
Yeah.
And like that's the kind of stuff that I want from printables.
Absolutely.
But like, yeah, there's little to no hope of having those bystander characters, of having the support cast. So
right. Especially when we're struggling to get characters like the Daughters of the Dragon.
Yeah.
They've come up strong in the voting every single month for the last 3 months, I think, and they still have not been produced.
Yeah,
and no disrespect to any of the patrons Patreons that we support. Obviously, we continue to support them. Our dollars speak louder than our words here, but it's frustrating. It's admittedly very frustrating.
It is very frustrating.
Like, almost why put the voting up at all when you're just going to do whatever you want, which, like, it is your prerogative. Do whatever you want. It's your Patreon.
Well, I'm also running into an issue with some of the Patreon. Oh my God, I got a vortex mixer for Christmas, and I am using my stupid hands like a dummy. What is wrong with me? Why did I plug this thing in?
I still need to get one of those. I should add that to my wish list.
How do I have an open slot down there? I do not, but I'll make it work. Yeah, I mean, in some of the Patreons that I'm in, you have people requesting some really dumb stuff. Also.
Yeah.
That it's like, why would you do this?
Right.
And also, people that are not getting the assignment.
Yeah.
So like, for instance, there's one guy there's one Patreon that I'm on that is very clearly a bunch of comic stuff, and this one guy keeps requesting MCU sculpts.
Yeah, and that's, the same holds true for the one that I'm on. Like, everybody just seems to want MCU, and I'm like, no. Like, okay, some of the costumes are a little bit more interesting in some regards, but in general, that's not what I'm here for.
Well, there's also a dozen places you can get those already.
Exactly.
Go one of there. The Nuclear Firefly's doing it.
Right.
They have your MCU costumes. Don't come to one of these. All right. See this. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's working. Did you hear that?
I did. It sounded like a fart.
It's just one long fart. Yeah. Let's see how well it mixed. Oh my God, that's so clean. What? This is a dream.
Adam out here doing learning and growing right away.
All right.
I just wipe on my face. So I believe by now both of you have heard my new skill that I've acquired.
Your new skill?
That has absolutely nothing to do with painting at all.
Oh, what? What skill's that?
My Game Boy repair thing.
Yes.
I'm now up to, including the commission that I've taken, 5 Game Boy Advance SPs, 2 DMGs, and 2 Game Boy Pockets.
Wow.
That I've just accumulated by posting on Facebook. And those are including the ones I already had, which is 1 SP and 1 DMG. But everything else has just been donated to the cause. And I'm very excited to... Our good friend Sonvar has requested that I do his SP. I'm putting a new screen in it, new buttons, a USB-C battery charger, and obviously new pads and whatnot as well.
Obviously.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what that means. That's why
well,
I say
like
that.
it's the kind of thing that you don't take. You don't. It's kind of foolish to take the thing apart and not put new pads in it. They're like $2.
Oh, okay.
So, and I've decided that every build that I do will come with a free gift of a 3D printed stand for it.
3D printed what?
Like display stand.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I found
That's
STL
really
files
nice.
for all different versions of Game Boys, and I was like, this is a very easy print that I do not mind doing. Costs me negligible amounts of dollars.
These first few minutes will be a lot of this. A lot of these digital farts.
Digital farts.
Yeah.
So is that the same kind of mixer that Broody has?
Probably it's a Oni Lab.
Mine's an Int Lab.
It's a what?
An Int Lab.
Oh, it's probably similar. Yeah, okay. It's basically the same function.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a turbine. Okay.
This
So
is
Zach,
crazy.
this morning when I was getting dressed, I about pulled out that same shirt.
What's that?
When I was getting dressed this morning, I about pulled out that same shirt that you're wearing.
Nice. This was my last clean t-shirt. Which is extremely hard to do. I have like 200 t-shirts. And I'm not exaggerating.
Oh my god. Where do you
Yep.
put them all?
Well, in drawers. I have an
How many
entire...
dressers do you have?
Just the one. So I've discovered through trial and error that if you fold them an extra time and then store them vertically, it's not only easier to store them, but it's also easier to find the one you were looking for.
Hmm.
All right, there we go. Now I think... So, this thing that's on her base could be one of, like, underneath the turbine. Could be one of two things. It's either rocks broken up from the pavement on impact of this turbine, or
Yeah.
it's part of the aircraft, or spacecraft, I guess.
I thought it was part of the pavement, but
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. It really doesn't matter all that much because I'm going to do it the same basic way. I'm going to just do slot Mechanicus standard gray down and then put ink over the rest of it in one way or another. Why am I getting alerts for that? Facebook is stupid.
I do feel like I feel freed now because I got Zombicide Black Plague from Secret Santa for Christmas, and then I got Marvel Zombicide. So it's like, okay, I feel like I can actually print stuff in this scale now. I
Yeah.
can just resume painting things, and I'm not wasting any time with it.
Well, I just found out that... Oh, sorry, Broody.
I was just going to say, like, I just got these Thundercats for Zombicide, and it's for Black Plague and or Green Horde, and
Yep.
I don't have played or don't have those games at all, and I need to find a copy.
So my issue, I would have I would be printing stuff in that scale also if I, like, Doug has all those games, my buddy Doug. So I don't feel the need to, because I would only play Zombicide other than Marvel with him. So if he wants a specific character made, I'll do that.
Wow.
But for me, I'm sticking with the slightly bigger scale for Marvel. The other thing about it is the bystander. I can see the bystanders being slightly smaller than the rest of the characters. I think that kind of makes some amount of sense.
And like holding them up, it's really like not. They're like 80%. Like I've had it's almost exactly that. I think.
Yeah.
So it's not immediately noticeable.
Right. The base size is really is the blow here.
Yeah.
And I can always one of the things I can do is I can mess around with base size. That's not difficult. I guess is what I'm going for there.
Let's see, different image and link here. There we go. That's the one I need. Okay.
So I spent most of the day playing Pokemon Violet.
How's that going?
A lot easier than I thought. The graphics are bad.
Yeah.
Like, so bad. But the story is fun. It's, I mean, pretty standard Pokemon story. The open world idea is not, I mean, it's pretty, you can choose the order you do things, but you also kind of can't.
Yeah.
Because in order to access certain areas, you have to level up your ride, and in order to for your Pokemon to obey you, you have to have gym badges. So the only thing that's, I guess, kind of optional is the Star Team or Star Operation Starfall, which almost feels like
Team Rocket of that
it's basically
game?
it's basically Team Rocket.
Okay.
But to its credit, there are a couple of things that Pokemon Violet does really, really well. For the first time, to my knowledge, now granted, I haven't played a mainline Pokemon game in quite a while. Hello, RPD. Hello, Kirk.
Hello.
What
are we doing?
For the first time in a while, I'm taking note of the dialogue, and for the first time in my knowledge, your rival, you're not total dicks to each other.
Really?
You're actually like, yeah, you can play it like you're besties, basically.
In Sun and Moon was like that.
Was it?
Yeah. So it probably changed around XY. Sun Moon was the one right after that.
Yeah. So, but it honestly, it genuinely feels nice. Like it fits better with the tone of the game, I think.
Yeah.
And like you genuinely feel excited for each other's achievements, which is pretty cool. The gym leaders are kind of hilarious, like hilariously on brand. So I just finished the normal type gym, and he's the most boring human being ever.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely some stuff they did right. It's engaging enough for me to keep playing. But like when I look at it compared to Arceus, it just pales in comparison. There's just so many things that they did right in Arceus and left out of Scarlet and Violet.
So strange.
It's very bizarre.
Strange.
And Adam,
I have wanted to paint pink hair Link.
Yeah.
I was like, what if I did that? I could print another one and do a pink hair Link variant. That
would be really good. And Adam, you've been playing God of War Ragnarok, yes?
I have, yeah. Yeah. I am I think about where you are on actually, like.
Okay.
I from judging from your stream things, I don't know how much side stuff you're doing.
I am not doing anything on stream.
Okay.
So I'll probably end up doing the side stuff afterward.
Yeah, I'm like at the frozen lake.
Okay, yeah, so you're just behind me.
And I think I just finished the frozen lake.
Okay, so you got the third weapon?
Yes, I just got the third weapon. And
okay, yeah, that's what I did. That was the last thing I did yesterday.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot.
That said, the game as a whole, I referred to it as Slog of War, the other day, because those Atreus segments are so awful.
I don't mind them.
Ugh,
I don't know.
I can't. I'm just. They're so.
I do like
slow.
having Freya with me better than.
Yes, definitely.
Having it, but.
RPD says do all the Link variants.
Do all of them?
Every last one.
Oh my god. If I have enough different sculpts, I would do them.
Yeah.
Like this one's the Hyrule Warriors sculpt, so like I'm clearly doing the blue scarf on it. And that's it. And like but if I had another one, I might do like a red tunic one.
Yeah.
There's a I would do the blue one if I had the Twilight Princess Zora armor one.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying God of War overall.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I am really enjoying the game. Like it's a lot of fun. But I just don't think it's as good as the first one.
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I'm just as, if not more, sucked in by this one, like by the story.
The story is really fun. Like I'm enjoying the story, but I think they're a little ham-handed with it. Like some of the things just take too long. I spend half my life moaning, "Stop talking, let me cave your face in with this giant heavy object." RPD says it's higher peaks, lower valleys. Yeah, that I'll go with that. That's very fair.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I have not had the same experience. I'm like really sucked in. I never ever listen to like all the dialogue of game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always skip it, but I'm like just having fun getting to know these characters and stuff, you know.
Yeah, there's some cool character bits for sure. I mean, oops, that's the wrong ink.
I think what hooked me was like at the beginning when when Odin like makes his pitch and it's like all very reasonable,
mm-hmm.
and then Kratos just goes, "No."
Yeah, exactly. Like,
well, okay.
Yep. Okay, we're doing that then. Ugh.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, this is where we are. Okay.
Yep. Heimdall threw me for a loop because I'm so used to Idris Elba being Heimdall.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's very different takes on everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Richard Schiff as Odin.
Yeah.
That's inspired.
So good.
And I mean, he does just like read as like an old man who wants to keep his status quo, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he does. Absolutely.
And in a way that's Kratos also, you know?
Yeah. I really hope they don't try to do like, I mean, Kratos is the character from God of War. And I really hope they don't try to be like, okay, Kratos is now done. This is Atreus' story.
Yeah, I mean, spoilers for the end of God of War 1.
Yeah.
Like that he's predicted to die in Ragnarok.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want a game that's entirely focused on Atreus.
Right. Although I've been keeping track of how many times Kratos calls Atreus boy.
It's been one.
One. Which is kind of sad. I like that in the first game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's no longer really a boy, so.
I know, but it's... I mean, it would be very in Kratos' character to continue calling him boy forever.
Well, and when he does, I love that, because when he does, it's a crucial character moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, this was the wrong time to bust that out again.
Yeah.
Which is very smart writing, I feel.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the writing, I've been complimentary of the writing. It is in general very good. It's just there's some things that just drag on and on and on and on.
I soft locked.
Did you?
Yeah. There's the part where you go to Muspelheim with Thor.
Yep.
And he goes up to fight the challenges while you go and do stuff that you're not supposed to, right?
Yep. Hang out in Agrabota.
Yeah, in the giant realm or whatever that place is. And I come out of there and I go, and you go back, you have to crawl under the thing and you do the fight, right?
Yep.
I died on the fight and it spawned me back right before you crawl under it.
Oh,
and
really?
the button to crawl under it was gone.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so it was like a weird glitch, and I kept reloading the checkpoint, and it wouldn't work. And I was like, is this game broken? What's happening? So I eventually, luckily, this is something that I didn't really know games did, and I never had a use for till now. It autosave. It keeps the last like 10 autosaves.
Yes, I did notice that at some point by accident. I was like, oh, that's kind of convenient.
Yeah, so I went back and I went back a few minutes to like right after I left the giant realm.
Yeah.
And it fixed it, but I was stuck in that little area. I couldn't go back into the giant thing. I couldn't go and do the fight.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, I think that this is going to be the same here. How the hell did that happen? Link has blue lipstick.
What?
I don't know how that got there. I must have just like nicked it with.
And by some strange twist of fate, it happened to land there.
Happened to be right there. I was probably pulling it back from the hand inside the thing there, but
yeah. Oh my god, Null Oil for the big cheats again. Nebula's face looks freaking perfect. I don't know how well that's coming up. It's not coming up on camera at all, but
I think we're getting Yondu from Legion soon.
Classic Yondu or
It's
more
comic
modern?
Yondu,
Nice.
I think. Or like similar. I mean, it's kind of the comic hybrid Yondu
Sure.
that he is now. So like, the one that's in Snap,
Yeah.
which is a great look. I feel like
Oh, absolutely.
it's a good compromise.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're getting a version of him too from C27
Oh, nice.
at some point. And I think it'll be more retro comics.
The trick with these places is to get them to not overlap as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, like, we are in a position where yeah, thank you, RPD. We're in a position where, you know, we're seeing a lot more, I think, than the average. Like, I would say the average person is going to subscribe to a Patreon, where we're seeing stuff from.
Seems like the average is 4 among.
Is it really?
I've talked to a lot of people that are on page, or I see the same people pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like most of them will pick about 4 of them.
So $40 a month. Okay, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, like the ones that I'm on, I don't think any of them are 10. Yours is only 10 because you do the terrain too, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair. I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, you're right.
I think most of them are 5, so like that's $20 a month.
Yeah, that's not bad then.
Yeah. $20 a month for minis is, yeah, and it seems to be like kind of the same people do a lot of the same ones because they end up doing pop culture. You know, there's a lot of Final Fantasy or like rather there's a lot of anime or superheroes.
Yeah.
That seems to be kind of the magic number.
Right on.
But we do have more than that between us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. You know, we're seeing tons and tons of stuff, but it also allows us to be a little more choosy at the same time, as well as, you know. Like, well, before the show, we were talking about potentially showing, you know, 3 different versions of the same character on a stream at some point.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Which I think would be a really neat experience. Similar enough that the color schemes, color matching would be more or less the same, but different also enough that that would be showing off distinctly different results.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a cool thing in the mail today. While I'm waiting for ink to dry here, I got this thing, which is my ROM loader for my flash card.
That's rad.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that out. I have no idea what I want to play first.
That's the real trick. I got I got for Christmas this thing called the Odin, which is incredible, and I love it. And the interface is great, and I'm loading legal backups onto it is great. Yeah. And like I've gotten a million things to run on it, and I have no idea which ones I want to do.
Oh, the struggle.
I didn't put everything on it. I'm intentionally only putting things on that it's like, oh, I want to play this.
Right.
You know?
Right. And I think that's kind of what I intend to do with this, is like, I am going to be fairly specific with this. Just otherwise I'm going to be glued to my Game Boy and never do anything else.
Well, I tend to, like, if I have everything on something, then I won't play anything. Because I'll just like look through it and go like, oh yeah, I have that too.
Oh, that thing's a cool thing, and then be like, no, now I'm out of time. I've run out of it.
Right. Oh, but yeah, I was gonna say about like some of these Patreons though, that like,
oh, go ahead.
Some of them, I'll be in like RNE, and they're just starting to get into superheroes, right?
Right.
And so then you have the people that are like anime people that haven't been around the superheroes a lot, and they're like, oh yeah, I do want that though. Yeah. You have them starting to go make all the same requests that Legion and C27 and Nuclear Firefly have had done forever.
Yeah. So I've just...
And you'll be like, what if you like? And I was at first I was like, Well, they already have one of these over here. What if we requested something that's not available,
Yeah.
And I had somebody go off on me about it, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna. It's not a hill I want to die on.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
getting.
Like I've been very fortunate with the C27 Discord. Like everybody's very pleasant there. I think it's just understood that what we are doing here is Marvel comics characters.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a couple of DC things come. Actually, I saw Cyberforce come up recently, and I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But so I put
Yeah,
Red
I'm
Hood
hoping
on.
that-
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I said I'm hoping that R&E goes a little bit down that route because like
Yeah.
they have two different Patreons. They have one that's called Dungeon Pinups, which is all like sexy models.
Sure.
Um, and so like they kind of skew that way sometimes, but like they're doing a Wonder Woman that looks really good. They're doing a Black Widow that looks really good,
Yeah.
and like Witchblade has been in the voting, and like that would be
Good
great.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great for them to do. So I'd rather them do stuff that's in their wheelhouse than just like copy all the other ones.
Right. Yeah. So I've put Red Hood on my paint handle, and I'm suddenly having second thoughts about this because
Oh,
feel
old
like
Red Hood.
what?
Old Red Hood.
Yeah. This is Dumb Dome Red Hood. But I'm having second thoughts because I think the dome needs to be color shift paint.
You do. I would just do it. I would do it in red and like I would do it in just like because you want like a candy apple red is what you want for it.
Yeah, but there is a candy apple color shift.
Oh, really? It
Yeah,
doesn't.
I don't have
What
it,
does
but there is one.
do? Like,
It's red to red.
oh, okay, interesting. 'Cause
Yeah,
I would
so-
just do this. I would just do this type of red and then put a gloss varnish on it.
Gloss non oil or gloss. Yeah.
It's probably what I'll do.
So yeah, it's like this glare. It's like the Darth blue down here, and it's just red to red.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I think I'm gonna wait on this one, as much as I'm otherwise motivated to paint him. Those will be coming in soon anyway, I think. Well, I've been saying that for a year. All right, so I guess the question is, what do I do next? I mean, I'm gonna have to highlight Nebula at some point.
You need a primer with Zombicide minis. Paint those.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was warm enough for me to prime. Unfortunately, it will not be. Yeah, bully for you. I don't have a garage. We had something important happen last night. RPD, is that... Wait, what? In the words of Dara O'Brien, wait, what? What? Wait, what? Oh, that's right. Candace was live last night. And I'm wondering how she got Tender Loving Care through YouTube.
She censors it. She's played it enough times.
Oh, that's right. She's got the cutaway. That's right.
Yep. Yeah, she's done that a bunch of times. She loves to take people through that.
Yeah, I went through it once. So actually, you went, and then I went the next after you.
Oh, yeah.
That game is something else.
Yeah. It really is. It is certainly a game that exists.
Well, exists is a strong word too.
I think it's so funny that they got not William Hurt.
John Hurt, yeah.
John Hurt. You're like, oh my god.
I mean, it is on so many levels comparable to The Room.
Yeah, except The Room doesn't have any star power, I don't think, but
Correct.
even like old stars, I don't know.
Yeah. No, there's nobody of note in The Room. Oh, what am I doing? guess the correct answer
Didn't
is
repaint the
return
whole
this box.
shield. Silver.
Find a new Batman character.
Did you finish Nebula already?
She was almost done.
Oh.
I just need to highlight her still.
I need to get more primer. I think I actually really like the Citadel spray can, the rattle cannon primer.
I do too. Unfortunately, it's so freaking expensive.
How much is it per can?
20.
It might be worth it because
I think it's worth it. Like I generally
nice
will not use anything else.
Like I'm not going to use it on Galactus when he gets here, but
No,
like,
that's a job for cheap primer. But
yeah. I'm gonna prime him entirely silver, except for the face. I'll silly putty over the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
This seems to have become a balancing act.
Oh.
Alright, I'm gonna get started on Hush, I guess.
I had to talk myself out of buying the Zombicide Thundercats like 6 times. Because, like, I only kind of care about Thundercats. I think they're cool. And,
right.
like, I didn't follow it that deeply. And nobody that I know would ever play with them.
Sure.
But what if
Oh no.
completionist Adam
Yeah.
feels that he needs those down the line? Yikes, that's messy. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, I had the Prey Collection Studios 3D printed ones.
Yeah.
These have so much more detail, and they're a little bit bigger. Than the scale that I previously had. So while they turned out great and I like them, getting this new set was exciting. Because not the same character, but here's Wily Kit and Wily Cat next to Lino.
Ah.
Oh, wow.
They're like a decent amount smaller. I'd probably say like 30% difference.
Yeah.
Do you not change the size of models with it, or was that just how you did it?
I usually don't mess with them because they come as 32 millimeter.
That's generally why I prefer unsupported files to pre-support.
Mm-hmm.
That's because like they change the size of everything.
One time I printed anything, or I supported anything myself, it worked, but then I had to deep clean the printer. I was like, eh.
Really? Why? Did it break?
I don't know what went wrong. It just like a ton of crap got caked on the in the resin vat.
That's strange.
Yeah, it was really weird. It was General Rom. General Rom's a dick. But he came out great, so it might be like It might be that I just didn't have, like, he was the only thing on the build plate and he was really small. So it might have been just errors. Because the next print, I filled everything up, and actually the next 4 prints worked perfectly fine once I deep cleaned everything and put it back together.
Sometimes there's just like no telling also.
Exactly.
Most of the time I'm like, oh, this is what I did wrong. But
Yep.
sometimes it's like, nah, I did everything right, and this a ghost did this.
Yep. But I am looking forward to selling off some of these Game Boys so I can buy a new printer.
I was thinking actually about selling some of my painted Crisis Protocol.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'm gonna repaint them all anyway in a different scale.
Yeah.
And like the Zombicide works way better for Augs also.
It's true. It's true, it does.
And that's kind of why I got them to begin with. So I could actually, like, in theory, if I get them all sold, make a killing off of that.
That's true.
But it's also really difficult to let go of something that I've...
Yeah. And I mean, we've put a ton of hours in. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call. And also, you'd have to find a buyer.
Well, I just put them on eBay.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Or Etsy. Or...
Yeah. I'm trying to determine the best way to sell these Game Boys. Like, I think it's eBay. Because
yeah, I don't know. I would, if I were you, and I'm not. I would make my own website first of all.
Yeah, believe me,
And
I
then
thought
I
of that.
would, and then I would use Etsy, and I would link to my own website through that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sellers on there. I would use eBay also and link to it. So like, oh yeah, you can just buy one like this, or you can have one custom done if you come to the website.
Yeah. But unfortunately, there's so much work involved in that.
I just use Squarespace. I'm led
That's
to believe
true.
it's quick and easy. If
Squarespace,
YouTube
not a
is
sponsor, but Squarespace, let's talk.
get that RPD at the same time. Using today's sponsor, Squarespace.
I don't happen to know the first name of the CEO of Squarespace, so I can't do my normal joke, but...
Okay, I think that's good for the blue. Now, which green? Probably that brighter one.
So, if it were me,
Yeah.
I would want almost exactly Warpstone Glow. So if you can match that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for.
Yeah.
I don't know why this works. But it does. It comes out so beautifully. It's like I've never had mixed paint before.
Oh. Dear God, I've actually got a smooth coat of paint on like Batman Gotham Mini.
I'm excited also because RNE is doing that as a like subscriber goal, is doing the Sia, Lana, and Linkle from Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, so like the Hyrule Warriors exclusive characters,
Yeah.
which I didn't think I would get elsewhere. Also,
Right.
so that's pretty cool. B Team is doing, is doing like one of the sages with each of the like villager packs.
Oh, cool.
So like the Gorons came out and it's got Darunia in there.
Huh.
And then like the Zoras will come out and that will have what's her name? Rudo.
That's neat.
Yeah. It actually I've seen it has the sculpt for the king also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can wonk wonk wonk.
God, it has been way too long since I played that game. Colin and Josh, a couple of years ago, convinced me to play Majora all the way through for the first time. And that was so
like
much
Majora.
fun. I love Majora.
I still haven't played Majora's Mask.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good as Ocarina of Time. But
I don't either, but I like it for different reasons. I like it's not you're okay. Hold on, I'm going to revise that statement. I don't think it's as good a game as Ocarina of Time, but I like it better for different reasons.
Okay, what are those reasons?
I like the sort of metaphor for grief angle that it goes through.
Okay.
I like the a couple of the
Does it though? That's my question. Like, I think that you can see that. Like, this goes to kind of what Tolkien said actually about like allegory versus applicability.
sure.
That I think it's applicable to that. I don't know that that was intended.
Josh pointed me to an article that implied very heavily that it was, but I can see arguments to the contrary. That said, if it's not, that's fine. Because
Yeah,
I also
I mean,
liked the
what you get out of it.
yeah, right, yeah, exactly. I liked the uniqueness of the puzzles and how they all came together centered around the masks, like that whole theme of masks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the characters that they introduce in Majora were anywhere near as strong as Ocarina.
With the exception of God, I can't remember the couple.
Yeah,
that's
what
a
the hell is
great
their name?
story.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but like
Yeah.
yeah. I think that I think it's very good. I like it a lot. There's some things that I don't like.
Mhm.
I think
Oh,
that
definitely.
the time jump mechanic is kind of poorly realized and does a little bit better in the 3DS version.
Yes.
But I also think that it's like one of those games, like a Kojima game, that it's like I don't really think it's actually trying to say a lot. That's a lot of it's just kind of like weird ideas that they had.
Sure.
And that's okay, but like I think a lot of people project their pseudo intellectual stuff onto it and go like,
Interesting.
"Oh, this makes me smart. I understand this." You
So,
know, and I'm
like Grant Morrison fans.
yeah, like Grant Morrison fans. Yeah, I definitely feel that way about Kojima fans too. That it's like a lot of the time
Yeah,
it's like,
like
"Oh, I understood Death Stranding." It's like, no, you did. There's nothing to understand. It's just weird. It's just weird and nonsensical, and no one actually understood it. And you're pretending to understand it because
because it
it
makes you
makes
feel
you.
good somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can respect that.
I mean, there is a fine line there too, because like I said, if you get something out of something, even if it's not intended, that's still valuable.
Yep.
But it's also like, I think a lot of times they project this onto people that it's not really there.
Yeah. That's fair. That's very fair.
It's like high school deep, like Garden State. That's another thing.
I like Garden State, but not for any reason other than the fact that I think it's funny.
I used to like it a lot, and then like I had to see it a ton of times
Yeah.
because everyone watched it a ton,
Yeah.
and then I was like, okay,
But why here?
I also feel like I outgrew it,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it is a early 20 somethings view of what deep is.
Yeah. Adam, Greg is asking what system the link is for.
The link?
The
Oh,
link that you're
this
painting.
link?
Yeah.
Oh, this is for. You mean what game system?
Yeah.
Or like what? I mean, like what board game system?
Yeah.
I'm painting this for Zombicide, for Black Plague. That is what I will use it with.
Yeah. I think you'll find, Greg, that a lot of the stuff that Adam paints moving forward is going to be Zombicide.
Or Augs.
Or Augs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's going to largely hold true for like, you'll see Crisis Protocol from me, but I think you'll see a lot of Augs scale stuff moving forward.
I try to I have tried from the outset to make my minis multi-purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I want them all. I want them all to be able to use in several things.
Yeah. I think my Marvel stuff will continue to be Crisis Protocol scale, other than when I get my Zombicide stuff. I said earlier that my buddy Doug has, well, Greg, you know Doug, has Zombicide, so most of, if I play Zombicide, it'll be with him. So if Doug wants something printed for Zombicide, I will print it at Zombicide scale. But these, I think the Batman minis are more or less Zombicide scale.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It sounds like Ness is having some trouble. I'm gonna go check on her with the kids.
Okay.
So I will be right back. Set
Sounds
this
good.
here. Give you a look at and the door.
Hopefully this is good. I don't think it is. Oh, it is. Look at that. Greg would like to know, Mike, if you will be painting the Stormlight miniatures on stream.
Most definitely, when they come in, I will be painting them on stream.
And he will have to explain to me what the hell is going on, because it's Stormlight Archives has become one of those things that so many people have told me is so good that I have absolutely zero interest in reading it. Also, like, the things that I read are way off the beaten path. I read biographies of, like, stand-up comedians and Sherlock Holmes pastiche novels. So not even written by Arthur Conan Doyle. I've discovered that I don't care much for high fantasy. I will occasionally read proper science fiction, like space-based science fiction, but I don't like the popular stuff.
Look at you being hipster.
Huh?
Look at you being a hipster.
I know, I'm a total hipster librarian. It is a
So I
point.
played some Arkham today.
You played, sorry?
I played some Arkham today.
Ah, I hate you. I want to play
I know.
Arkham so bad.
We're running through Edge of the Earth.
Okay.
Oh,
Jesus.
and it is a ton of fun. I am playing as Daniela Reyes, the mechanic.
She is really cool. I like her a lot.
I am playing a red character and not taking Peter Sylvester.
I don't think Peter Sylvester is like a must-have in red decks. He's good, but I don't think he's a must-have.
But I'm using Akina.
Yep.
So like the whole thing is like a redirect damage,
Yep.
and Daniela, like when she gets attacked, she deals more damage.
Yep.
So I just like retaliate during the enemy phase. To deal tons of damage to monsters.
That's awesome. I love it. Have you had a chance to play as... What's her name? Stella Clark.
No.
She is a lot of fun.
The plan to fail.
Yep. Yeah, I was running Stella Fail.
But yeah, today I got surrounded by a whole bunch of enemies and just decided to dynamite everything, including myself.
Oh, I've done that strategy plenty of times. Did I ever tell you about the best game of Mansions of Madness I ever played?
No.
All right, well, finish your story and then I'll tell you that.
But the level we're playing just had tons of albino penguins that were causing problems.
As they do.
Mm-hmm. So I ended up just punching the crap out of all of the penguins.
Love it. That's what they get.
Mm-hmm.
Only as a giant fan of penguins, don't hurt the penguins.
Yeah. Only albino ones.
Only albino ones. We here at Another Letdown Media do not support the mistreatment of penguins of any kind. Albino or otherwise. Anyway, so the best game of Mansions of Madness I ever played. It was the Dunwich Horror.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex could not find a weapon to save his life. So he was off dirtling in the woods. Kyle got lost on his way to the Dunwich Horror. And then my old boss, Mike, and I were the only ones left. And Mike goes, all right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to stand under the Dunwich Horror, and I want you to target me with a grenade. Or with a dynamite. A stick of dynamite. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, I will survive, I promise. Lo and behold, I threw a stick of dynamite at him, blew up the Dunwich Horror, blew up Mike, and he was fine. He had like 1 hit point left before going full madness. Or full damage death.
That's awesome.
It was truly epic. And
now, some of the highlights of Daniela, taking care of like a 6 health victory 1 monster during the enemy phase.
yep. Yes, RPD. Right. Time to go smaller in brush size. I think what we're going to do here, because his coat is so buttoned up, we're going to paint these buckles on his boots with the red trim, his uniform underneath what all it would normally have. This will come up next. Another Letdown Media employee policy meeting said chances are you will be assigned your choice of either sensitivity training or insensitivity training unless the boss has other opinion, in which case I don't get paid enough to object. I don't know, you'll have to ask Paul and Chris. Actually, that's probably a Dorothy thing. And RPD, I realize you're lampooning the fact that I'm the only one who ever, like, the only consistent Another Letdown person. But there are other crew members. Which is why I'm just pawning that off on them. There's a great story from when we were just starting out with the sketch comedy stuff, where we would do our writing on the beach. There was a pond or whatever, the river rather, behind my parents' house, and we used to do our writing there because if we started bickering, Dorothy would shove us in the river. Alright, this is going to be tricky. He's got a little tiny bit of flesh poking out from underneath his bandages. I think it's just like a lip. We'll see if we can get that flesh in there.
Check it out. Oh, here. Hey, guys.
Hi.
I have a guest with me. Nicholas is here.
Hi, Nicholas.
So this is what I'm doing here, bud. See how they start like this, and they're white, like that, and then I paint them to look like this. Is that pretty cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a cough syrup incident going on.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Can I paint?
Can you paint it?
No, Daddy.
You want me to paint it? Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I can do this with you here. Yeah, we'll paint the sword because that'll be easy to do.
Challenge
So I get
mode,
a-
activate.
And then I put this on here.
No. No.
Yeah, I have to paint the whole sword silver first. This.
Then. No.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if. I don't know if I have any more yellow to do. I got yellow on for his hair. Right?
Yeah. Wait, see. No.
His hair's yellow.
Yeah. No, wait.
I gotta do white.
That's pretty good.
Ah!
right?
Don't hurt yourself.
No, it's fine. Just dropping dried bits of paint. There we go, smaller. Ah, it's way too big.
Yellow time.
No, I don't think it's gonna be yellow time again, bud. Let me see. I'm gonna do a little bit of blue. You want me to do some blue?
Come on.
Okay. I think that. Do you want to do maybe some green?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Can I do thinking?
Let me see if there's a spot that you can do here. Okay. Yeah, here. I'm gonna help you. Take this. Okay. And then right here. Right on there. Look at that. Look at that. It's pretty good. Let's turn this around.
Can I do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
No, yellow.
No,
One track mind, this kid.
Yeah, he wants to do yellow. That's-
No. Can I do green?
Yeah, we're gonna keep doing greens.
Can I do it?
Yeah, go ahead. Nice. Okay. All right. So that's what I'm doing here. Is that pretty cool? Yeah.
Can I do that one next?
Can we do a yellow one next? I don't really have anything else to paint yellow, bud.
Did you say already? Yeah.
Do
You know,
you want to do that green?
we just did this green.
You want to do blue?
And it's green a little more down here.
And
Oh, we got to do underneath here, huh? It's green down there.
There we go. Now I go real small.
This is expert mode because his head's right in the way, so I
Oh,
can't
no.
see what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay.
they paint like
Okay, bud. So that's what I'm doing. I think it's time to go upstairs now, okay? All right. Can you go tell your mom and sister how much you love them? I love you, buddy.
Bye, Nicholas.
You shut the door for me? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so Ness was one parenting up there.
Huh.
Yeah, and trying to administer medicine.
Oh, wow. That's the worst.
Yeah, it was not a pretty sight when I got there, and I was able to help because I was removed from the situation to begin with, so I
Yeah.
came in calm. But like, yeah, it was. Rhea doesn't like anything. She will not drink anything. She will not taste anything. She said no. What? No, I say you go up and tell them that you love them. So you stay up there.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. And so yeah, so Freya cough medicine is, like
I mean,
it
it's
might as
poison.
well,
I mean, it tastes so bad.
it might as well be oysters. Well, and this is really good cough medicine. I tasted it to like try and
Yeah,
be
you
like,
kind of
oh,
have to,
look,
right?
I'm gonna have it. This is actually really good, and I was like, I'm surprised that it doesn't have that medicine taste.
Yeah, sure.
It's like a black cherry sitch, and it's very, like it's a very strong taste of black cherry.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But she was freaking out about it, and so therefore, the boy who's also back. Yeah, but yeah, you can hang out down here, but I can't you can't sit with me anymore because I got to paint. Okay. But he was freaking out about it because she was.
Right.
And he had like tried it and liked it.
Yeah.
So it was trying to convince him back into liking it.
Right.
So it was.
I don't know whatever I got for, cough syrup the other day. I mean, it was similarly black cherry, but it was like the Walmart brand. Like, I think it was subbed in our online order for NyQuil.
Oh God.
And I was like, I took a sip and I was like, oh God, I need water right now.
Yeah, this is I think it's called like ZB's, the kids.
Yep.
It has a B on it.
Sure.
And yeah, their kid stuff is really quality, and that's what they had. So
yeah.
But then yeah, we ended up putting it in apple juice, and you can't even taste it in the apple juice.
Huh. Well, learning and growing.
But Freya was like, yeah, snot and hair and tears and drool, like the whole. If you are listening and you are not a parent, I know this is not glamorizing, but it is in fact worth it.
Yeah. think I've got Hush base coated here. Just like that.
Boy, that brown really brings it together.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, like the green just doesn't like it doesn't accentuate it enough, and then like you get the brown on there, you're like, oh, there he is.
Yep, it's Link. It's definitely Link now.
Yep.
One of the first kit bashes I ever did was Link.
Oh, really?
I hand painted the Hylian shield. And it came out really well.
I'm gonna mostly have to do that. So like this has, I don't know if you can see the detail on it, but it has the Triforce up at the top, but not the crest.
The crest, yeah.
Not the rest of the Hylian crest on there. So I'm gonna have to do that by hand.
Why is this a very special episode tonight, RPD?
Okay, I think the base coat is done.
Oh, he looks so good.
Oh wow, that's great. That was super cool.
One can say what? What? Oh, because Adam went full PSA talking to the camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think now is the most appropriate time ever to do learning and growing. I wish there was there's now 4 different learning and growing gifts. I wish there was a way to every time I hit that button randomize which one comes up. Colin, get on that.
You say that, he'll do it.
I know he will.
Instead of like something that he actually needs to be doing.
Right. He's kind of notorious for that.
Yeah.
I'm doing a unit on actually I started it before the holiday. A unit on AI and deepfake.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin wants me to show off Faybot.
Oh.
I'm like, Colin, my students would have absolutely no concept of A, who Faye is, and B, why it's significant. He's like, well, but I did it. I was like, I don't care. It's not helpful. He also threatened to do Zachbot and Paulbot, too. And Joshbot. He says he has enough footage of all of us. Like, stop that.
Wow, he's got blue boots inside there. That's bizarre. Okay.
Here's a shade we don't use all that often. Sepia.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say like the Hyrule Warriors designs are some of my favorite.
They're so cool, right?
It's just like a breath of fresh air into these. Like, you know, Link's been functionally the same for 30 years.
Yeah.
And like just
Maybe Paulbot can finish that.
just giving them like outsourcing it for one time. And it's just like
Maybe Zachbot can finish Hollow Knight without getting distracted.
Oh, that's a great game.
It's so good, but it's so pretty, and I tried to stream it early on, and I got woefully distracted by how pretty it is.
I only kind of like it. I'm in a minority on this, and I realize, but
Well, to each his own.
yeah, like I think it's mostly good, and I think the story and the world building is really cool. I am not I don't really like the map, and I think
Yep.
that like the areas kind of blend together.
That would be my big complaint about it as well.
What's up, bud? No, I know. I didn't say for Freya to come look at the paint. I said for you to tell her that you love her.
Adam, your child is making things up again.
Yeah. Nope. Out of here, bud. Come on. Go upstairs. You can crawl up if you want. I don't care.
Just go up.
The longer it takes you to leave, the longer it will take you to come back down. So I had a very strange printing error with this link.
Go on.
Well, not with Link, but with the bomb flower. Well, so first of all, with Link, actually, the top part of his sword, I had a failed print before this, and the top part of his sword hilt didn't print on either of them.
Oh, weird.
So I clipped off the old, like the bottom of the old print sword, and glued it on there. And you can't even tell. But one of these bomb flowers printed completely hollow
Strange.
and paper thin. And so I went to scrape it off the plate, and it just touching the side of it caved it in. Luckily,
good
I was.
morning, Dark Konodo.
Oh yeah, morning. Is it morning where you are?
Must be. I mean, admittedly, I had a friend once who used to refer to, no matter what time of day it was always evening.
But yeah, so I basically just merged it onto the side of this other one,
Yeah.
and used baking soda and super glue. And
That's cool. Yeah, I think it looks great.
yeah, I'm gonna do I'm gonna add grass and stuff on it so that it
Yeah, of course.
blends it a little bit better. But...
Okay, cool. So you're doing the same thing my friend Josh used to do. Well, good morning, or afternoon, whatever the case may be. That is a great movie. Flubber.
Oh, I was I was trying to think of I actually think I've seen Flubber. I saw the original.
So much fun. I love Robin Williams. I can't off the top of my head think of any movie of his that was not good.
There's got to be one, but
I'm sure there is, but
there's got to be one, and I'm sure he's still good in it. But
yeah.
But no, I was thinking. I was like auto thinking, "Good morning," and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
I loved Patch Adams RPD. Are you kidding me? The movie's great.
I feel like Mrs. Doubtfire is false advertising.
But it's still a great movie.
Yeah, but that's not to discount it. It's just like it seems like it's going to be a lot funnier than it is.
Oh, true. Yes. No, it's a heavy duty movie. Like it is.
It is pretty,
genuinely
pretty
heavy.
Yeah.
Certainly has funny moments. Lots of them.
Yeah, but you're like, moment one, this man can no longer see his children.
Yeah.
And desperately wants to.
Right. I think that should hold at this point. And we're back to Nebula. I think we're going to end up doing a lot of dry
I
brushing
think
here.
this is okay. All right. I think that this is mostly good. Now I got to do the metallic crap. This is where it gets hard.
Yeah, I'm in a weird position too because I've got to find a way to fabricate darker, like maroon colors. But I definitely.
I think that I'm just gonna leave the scarf a solid blue. It has like a red tip and the Hylian crest on it,
Yeah.
actually, but like that's just too much detail, and I think it's gonna detract from the model.
Yeah. I am going to grab a Kleenex real quick. I'll be right back.
Gonna mix up. We're gonna mix up some. Blue.
Okay, that's better. So how do I do this? Reds and pinks, probably? Maybe I can work with that. Oh. Well, let's see what happens. That red is way too bright. What the? Ah!
I am still kind of looking for the perfect system for Dragon Ball, because I want minis of them, and I think that'll be really cool to paint those.
Yep. Yeah, I
Like,
mean, we
what
have
do you
some
do?
dope files for them, but
Yeah. What do you do with them?
right. Because it's definitely not, I mean, they're not out there solving world problems a
Yeah.
la OGs or something like that. They're just kicking the snot out of it.
Ernkman? Or Ernkman? I don't know how you say that one. The one that's doing like the Pokemon stuff
Yep.
and the Smash Brothers ones. He just did bonus files of Perfect Cell and Beerus also.
I saw those.
Yeah. And I think I think we'll get all of Frieza's forms on for this month from Dragoon.
Nice.
Yeah.
That should do it, I think. Thank God for this wet palette. My God. Let's mix like four different colors.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying my wet palette.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
It absolutely is.
I'm not even like mixing colors on it. I'm literally just using it and not having to worry about my paints drying out.
Yep.
That's, I mean, up until now, that's what I was doing tonight, but now I'm mixing a little bit.
Yeah, I'm mixing for this metal because I'm using the silver and the blue together.
Yep.
And then I'll do the same with red in a minute.
RPD would like to know if the amount with which he ats you in with trailers in Paul's Discord is bothersome to you, Adam. I'm going to assume probably not.
No, I don't mind being added, especially if it's like, hey, this is a thing I think you might like.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, I do have too many things that I might like.
Well, I mean, don't we all?
Yeah. I just found a really great small franchise of games that, like, I got half the franchise for $5 last night.
Oh, nice.
Or not, I guess not franchise, but a little publishing company, a very small publishing company.
Yeah. I know what you meant.
What? I'm gonna see what Steam had. Library. Yeah, so Super Star Path, Bot Vice, and Strikey Sisters are what I got. And they are all like really solid.
Nice.
It's like all pixel art stuff. God, what's the name of it? Store page. Is this maybe?
I mean, you had my attention at pixel art.
Yeah. Okay, DYA is the company. They also did 2 games. One's called Evil Tonight, and one is Viviette.
Yep.
Which
I've heard of Viviette.
Yeah, they're like 2D Resident Evils with
sick.
just some of the best pixel art I've ever seen.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I say that about all pixel art because I think there is probably a cap on good pixel art.
Probably, but we've yet to find it, and we do appreciate it, so...
Yeah, I just say the best I've ever seen a lot. So.
Well.
I tend to be pretty hyperbolic about art.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's a common theme amongst artists with imposter syndrome.
Let's look at Flower.
Which I realize is basically every artist ever.
I think we're going to paint this the same metallic blue.
RPD says, Adam, there's no such thing as too many games.
You say that. I've stopped watching. There's a channel that I watch on YouTube that's just that is a guy in Singapore that just does. Oh, these are the best new indie games of the week. These are the top 20 Metrovanias I'm looking forward to. These are like I stopped watching that channel
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like a trap.
because it was just like, well, for the next 20 minutes while these trailers are going, I'm just gonna keep Steam open
Yep.
and start wishlisting.
I think my next. So like I'm almost done playing back through all the Mega Man games. I'm on Mega Man 8.
Okay.
I think after that, I was originally going to go right into the X franchise. And I was like, maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll play a Metroidvania or two, just to break it up.
Dude, how good does X Corrupted look?
Oh my god, I want that now.
I know, right? It does definitely look like it's supposed to be the halfway point between X and Zero.
Yeah, that is exactly what it looks like. It is the very definition of a game tailor made for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and with it being called X Corrupted, like it has to be. That has to be the plot, right?
Yeah. All right. That is highlighting done on her uniform.
Could have painted this yellow with him here.
Go without tail. Inculinati.
Max was like, I was like, oh yeah, I printed these Zelda. This is gonna be so cool. And she's like, why do you want Zelda for Zombicide? It's a completely different type of game.
Wrong.
I was like, no,
It's-
babe, I'm printing Hyrule Warriors for Zombicide.
Yeah.
She was like, what? And I was like, you know, the one that I play that's like run around and kill 1,000 guys. It's like the Dynasty Warriors, but the Zelda. She's like, oh.
Yep. It's exactly.
It's completely this. I have downloaded to my PlayStation also Persona 5 Strikers.
Yeah.
We'll see if we'll see with that one. Because like I liked Persona 5 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really grumpy with the guide that I was using because I have one achievement left to get, and it's gonna take me like way too much time now
Yep.
because it didn't have me level a thing properly. Yeah. And either way I cut it, it's gonna take me a while. I could like reload and start a new game plus instead of grinding through most of the game.
Yeah.
But I think that it's about 6 of one, half dozen of another.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Got
Yeah.
some highlights, some dry brushing added in.
Oh, that's sick.
Pizza dried.
I've just got a little bit of weathering to do, and then I'm locked here. So, question is, how do I want to do that? I do think dry brushing is the answer here, as much as I hate it.
Yeah.
All these flesh colors that are just browns. Oh,
Usually they're specific browns. Like,
I found one. Oh, okay. Thanks, RPD. And then, where is this one? Lucius Lilac.
Lucius or Luscious?
This is Lucius.
Strange.
I think it has something to do with the Lucius pattern Titans from Warhammer 40k.
Okay. Less strange.
It's still pretty freaking strange. It is GW
Yeah.
we're talking about.
I don't find their naming scheme useful.
It's
Like,
no, it is 100% useless.
because like I'm not into Warhammer, so it's
Right.
like this is only good if it's only valid for you. It only means anything if you're a Warhammer guy.
Right.
Parts.
All right, base ring color.
I think I did silver.
Really?
I think, yeah,
I think I'm going to use the burgundy.
for Nebula.
Yeah. Also, are her, like, the baton things she's holding anything special?
Baton thing she's holding.
Yeah, it's like those little like stick swords.
They're swords.
They're not sharp. They barely look like swords.
What? Let me get my Nebula. Hold on.
They're blunt.
No, these are swords, bro.
All right.
Yeah, those are swords.
All right. Well, are they anything special?
No, they're just
Okay.
swords.
All right. Cool.
Yours is a lot brighter than mine. It's closer to yours is closer to the Ravager's costume.
Yeah. Also missed a couple spots.
Okay. This up. This. Oh, yeah, especially though when mixing colors, the web palette's like super useful
Oh
to
my
like
God.
keep the mix wet,
Yeah.
so that you have to like remix later if you.
Yeah, like I'm going back and realizing I missed several spots here. I'm just
All
touching it
right,
up.
here we go. This is the hard part.
Oh, for God's sakes. Nope, that's not right. Why are brush caps clear? Why can't they be neon orange?
I don't know what I do is put whenever I get new paints, I put a dab of it on the top of the bottle like this. Oh, you can't see. See that?
But for the brush caps, though? Yeah, I guess that would work.
Oh, brush cap. That's I just said paint cap. Sorry.
No, sorry. Find it later. Shame.
I need to go over it again, make it a little bit brighter.
Oh yeah, this is gonna look cool with the base color I've selected.
Oh my god, I did it.
Did what?
The shield.
Oh,
Let me see if I can show this here.
nice!
Yeah.
Well done.
I gotta do the gold on the Triforce, but that's
Yeah,
easy.
that's trivial. It's
Yeah.
also raised, so.
Yeah. Yeah, painting the bird on a blank surface is a little bit harder.
Just a bit.
Looks so good. Oh my god, I'm so happy with it. I'm done with the flats for him and the flowers, so now I need the ground. And then I'll be ready to wash and be done.
So close now. All right, I think that's Nebula done. Sorry, my camera to do its thing properly. There she is.
Okay. Flats are done.
All right, get some inks on that and we'll call it a night.
See that a little bit better. Okay. Now need washes.
Actually, you know what? Let me look at this one more time here. some of those face details a little bit better. Where the hell did that cap go? That should be in my lap. Yep, sure is. So what did you go with for inks here, Adam? Homemade ones? Wait. Oh. I just realized my headset cut out.
Thing just like snapped back the pot lid
Ah,
Oh, gross.
and almost just like ruined. It like shot it. You can see like here it shot it across my hand.
Oh no. I just realized my mic cut out, and I don't know how long it's been that way.
Oh, I mean you've been pretty quiet for a long time.
Yep. And I was talking away over here.
I was like, I guess he just doesn't have much to say.
Nope, definitely was saying things, but that usually doesn't happen if I'm not running Tabletop Simulator, so that was strange. Guess I need to pay better attention to that. Oh well. No big deal. Fixed now.
Did you say anything of note?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do I ever?
Sure. I'm sure there's one time.
Yeah, maybe once. Huh.
I just realized I left the buckles unpainted.
Oh no.
I hate it when that happens.
It's okay. I'll just like,
Honestly, you can probably get away with doing them after the inking.
yeah. I'm just gonna wash everything and then
Let it dry and then you hit those.
go back and do that.
So what are you using for inks? That was the question I asked when I realized that you couldn't hear me.
This is just Agrex Earthshade that I'm
Yeah.
just covering with. Basically, I'm gonna do a couple. I did the regular flesh shade on his face, obviously, and then
Yeah.
the rest of this, like the green looks okay with the brown wash. It's not enough though. Need to be more careful. That's what needs to happen. Then I'll probably use Druchii Violet for the scarf.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Again, these words mean nothing to me. But...
I think Druchii refers to Dark Elves. The only reason I know that is because they were my tertiary army in Warhammer Fantasy Battles. Only because someone whose name I will not say on stream because it'll make it come to the store. Although, who do I care? I don't work there anymore. This guy, Tim. Have fun, collectibles. Challenged me. He said, "You only ever paint dwarfs. Can you paint elves?" And I was like, "Yes." He goes, "All right, do it." So I bought a huge box of dark elves.
Oh, all right.
It is still sitting in my closet. Unassembled. I painted like one, and I was like, "There you go, Tim." And he goes, "Okay, guess you can."
Yeah, that's so strange. The dwarves are like the least interesting fantasy race to me.
Oh my god, they're stupid boring.
Why did you do that?
Because chaos dwarfs are not super boring. The reason I went with dwarfs is because the chaos dwarf line, thank you GW, was 187 the day before I went in to buy chaos dwarfs. They just got rid of it. They're like, "No, get effed." And that was my first negative experience with Games Workshop.
It wouldn't be your last.
No.
Oh man, how about that D&D stuff?
Oh my god.
What is everything going on with that? I've read some stuff about it, but there's a lot.
So the TLDR of it is, their open game license got leaked, which is the license by which they allow people to make fan-created content, such as campaigns, custom monsters, etc. And it basically says that they want a cut of everything ever, always.
And that's not just a attribution cut. That's like a monetary cut of everything you make.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bunch of hockey.
Yeah, people are understandably miffed about that.
I hope. I mean, you think about how many hours goes into a custom campaign.
Yeah. There's a lot of custom content out there that they're being very Nintendo about.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the long and short of it. I think it's a huge mistake.
Yeah. And unfortunately, they are big and powerful enough that it won't matter.
Yeah, that's the part that sucks the most, is that like everyone will get really mad about this for a little bit and then forget all about it, and they'll just completely get away with it. So
yep. Moral of the story, folks: Games Workshop and Wizards of the Coast are not your friends.
no, they're not. And to be completely fair, no company should be your friend.
True.
But there's a modicum of customer respect that I think should be involved.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I never for a moment thought that they weren't trying to make money. So
oh, of course not. I mean, that is their number one goal. They are a company.
Yeah.
But
and it always has been. But
right. But there should be some
ways to do it.
Yeah.
And trying to choke out fan content is not a good way to do that.
No. And yes, they have I've played a lot of their boxed campaigns, but so much of what made that fun was my group's ability to go off book. When we were playing through... What's the one that comes after Tyranny of Dragons? And this is a rhetorical question, I don't really care. But the campaign that was released after that, we went so far off book, we didn't even know where we were anymore. Our DM had to make just as much stuff up as if he was writing the whole thing himself. And when we finally got it back on the rails, you know, it was, we had, you know, leveled up and improved ourselves so much that it was hardly worth it.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think we're done here.
Yeah, I made a little bit of progress on Hush while I was waiting. Oh my god, my camera's turned off. Well, it's just been staring at Nebula for however long as I'm sitting here. Well, at least it's a good shot.
Little tech issues, Zach. Here we go. Here's
Yeah.
my link. I think he looks pretty rad. I'm gonna wait for this to dry. I'm gonna glue some grasses on there.
Yeah. I got Hush and Nebula over here. Hush isn't done yet. We'll finish him next week. Or maybe sometime during the week. I don't know. Depends on what I have for time.
That's nice fast paint job
For Hush?
Hush, yeah.
Yeah, I think he came out really well. I'm
Like-
not keen on doing a whole lot other than maybe dry brushing his trench coat and highlighting his hands. And Mike, you want to show off Lion-O real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, one good shot here at the end. There we go. All right. Well,
Super.
I think with that, that is not a disappointment to end on. That's rare. Adam, don't spill your paint now.
My lids are on.
All right, good. Well,
That
thank
one
you
wasn't
guys for hanging out tonight. It's always a pleasure getting to do this with you. We will be back in 1 week, painting some more. I will, if I haven't already finished Hush, that's what I will start with, and then move on to something else, because that's the plan. That's what we do. I can't remember what I usually say. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a great rest of the week. Oh, I will be back on Wednesday playing God of War Ragnarok for a couple of hours. Same on Friday, and then we'll be back here on Saturday. So take care, everybody. Be safe, be well, and have a good whatever until we see you next. Bye.
Yeah.